Can you hear me now? Justin, Rod. Speak to me. There's Nathan. You're muted, Nathan.
Hey, sorry. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Good. We got someone else there. Oh man, that's an old slide. All right. I'm waiting for Martha. Martha says she'd be here in a little bit. Rod, Justin, you can hear me.
I responded to you.
We lost. Hey, Rod, how are you?
Sada?
Chips.
Oh, wow. We have more people.
Emily, how are you? Can you hear me?
Where's Martha?
Hi,
We need to
how
work
are
on
you?
this.
see. I'm the center of attention.
All right.
Oh, you will. Hi. How are you? By yourself? Just by the corner, do your own thing, huh? You just sit by the corner and do your own thing, huh?
I was in here ahead of time doing something else, and I came, so I'm here for this, so I figured I was just like right here. So this is where I'm settled in.
Sometimes this is the big house. This is my size. I always sit the first and the second table. My whole on.
Hold on.
I never
Head of the
sit up
class.
front. Huh?
Head of the class.
Because I love to talk, so if I sit in the middle of the games, I'm gonna start talking and then I don't focus.
Nathan, can you hear me speaking?
Hi there. What are the loans? Good, how are you?
Wonderful.
Good. So,
Okay, because I'm not getting sound from my
I didn't expect you to come. and-
desktop back when you're responding, so
I just knew it was.
I'll make a note to raise your hand or something so I can see that you have questions. All right, all right, thanks.
He would launch on it straight 9 hours. You didn't say it again? Oh, I did. No, of course you did. I would say
I would
something.
have to say something.
Yeah, I have to say something.
Like, can't you, like normal people, whatever.
It's just annoying, like the whole distraction, the whole scene, the board. He never passed.
Oh
me
my
the stage,
God.
no advice. Oh, really?
No, that's good.
That's good.
We don't need it.
Maybe that should be part of the test. So the London space up for rent again.
I saw that. So you have to put it on custom.
I'm trying to remember. Well, maybe not, because it's in the transition of my system. I'll look. But anyway, because for the game, the CD should have out again. It's just on and off, on and off with that image.
I know, that's why I don't like this to them. Because they change it in the middle of the game all the time.
Yeah. Jeez.
And I'm in a meeting to my pipeline. Thanks.
All right, I think
You probably have everybody.
we got a turnout. That's good. Well, let me go ahead and get started. Everyone here knows we have a KW commercial division here. We've been running it now for like under the radar for quite some time, and now at the radar, we've been continuing to develop the KW commercial platform throughout the Ohio Valley region. And we've been working with teams in Kentucky, Dayton, Cincinnati, and the Central Ohio group. But one of the things as we continue to grow, we have, kind of like the blessings of having a residential company with a commercial leg to it. We're about 90% residential. We have about 10% of our business, maybe even more. I think it can be greater than 10% of our business in 2021 will be greater than 10%. So obviously we're growing in sales. And what we have been trying to do is work as a group and negotiate with some of the commercial providers with KW through our KW commercial name through the state of Ohio, through the Ohio Valley region. And of course, one of the most prominent sites for if you're going to do commercial work, you need to have your business, and if you're going to represent your clients properly, you need to have your listings into a platform like CoStar and LoopNet. Now there are other platforms like Catalyst and Crexy, which were, let's just say they're stepping outside of this conversation today. And what we're finding is that CoStar or LoopNet is a particular beast in that CoStar allows you and everyone to provide them data. And when you provide them data, when you might have one list, and you go, well, I'm going to expose it to, and I'm going to put it in LoopNet. What CoStar and LoopNet does, they're all about the same people, by the way. They look at it as going, oh, hey, Keller Williams, you know that so-and-so is a commercial agent. Oh, and they need to be a subscriber. Oh, you know that so-and-so is a commercial agent. They have listings, you need to be a subscriber. And what that does is it's kind of like a bait and switch. They get you into the program, you download their data because they're data hungry, they're beasts. And once you get into the program, now you are a commercial agent. Doesn't matter if you do one deal a year or one deal in 10 years, now they're looking at you as a commercial. And so what that has done is CoStar is now, CoStar is a parent company, they call LoopNet. CoStar is now saying anyone who has listings into our platform has to be a subscriber, period. Period. And we've battled and battled. I mean, I can't tell you how many hours I spent fighting this issue. And Martha has been involved with this for quite some time. Troy Fabish's KW Commercial out of a consulting company in Dublin, and Rob, you're KW Commercial, am I correct? Okay, so Rob is also. And so what's happening is now CoStar has come to us because now we're at our annual renewal period, and it has said anyone that's in our database as a Keller Williams Greater Columbus Realtor, if you have a commercial listing in there, you must subscribe to CoStar. And so what I fought it, and I said, no, some of our agents just do one or two deals a year. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And so now, as a company, what's happened is there are some subscribers here in this office, and what that's doing is pushing our price up. The non-subscribers is pushing the subscribers' price upward. And so we have to make a decision how we're going to run a residential company with a commercial leg in it. And if you're going to put, I have instructed CoStar that no one is allowed to put any listings into CoStar or LoopNet unless they get permission from me or Dale. So you have to find out who's got the soft heart.
Takes the biggest pride.
Yeah.
So that's what this meeting is about. CoStar is drawing the line in the sand, and like for instance, our fees were about $350 a month, and our fees are now $505 a month. And so that's per person monthly. And so you can see it's a pretty expensive undertaking. If you want to do commercial work, I'm all for it. I'll send you down the road where to get the education, where to get the training, what to do, how to do it. And I'll make sure you're on the right path if you're going to be a 100% commercial agent. But if you're not, and you're going to be onesie twosie, we have to come up with a solution. And the solution right now is, I know Martha is a subscriber and I am a subscriber in our Keller Williams Greater Columbus office. Rob, I haven't asked you if you want to subscribe, but if you do, or you can join in on this.
You've asked me 2 times.
I guess so. I mean, for this new year. So what's happening now is
The price will come down a little bit, but.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. The price will come down a little bit if we get more numbers.
Right.
But here's the thing. When the company, Keller Williams Greater Columbus, says, hey, Rob, Todd, and Tracy, you want to be members? Okay, great, let's sign up. So right now we're at 3 licenses. And so now we bump it to 6 licenses. And then Todd and Tracy decide, I don't want this no more. But guess what? You don't get rid of the license sticks with the company. They won't forgive that. So if we add 10 agents, we added 10 licenses forever. So if you're going to do commercial work, you've got to do commercial work. So how do we support you guys? The goal of supporting you is that, number one, you're residential agents. If you have a commercial deal, talk to Martha, Rob, or myself and say, hey, I'd like to refer this to you. Here's my client. We've been friends for like 700 years, and I want you to take care of them. And this is what I want you to do. And so we'll establish a referral relationship like you would if I got a call from California from somebody and somebody wanted to refer me a lead. So that's the preferred way, because then I want to make sure that you're, focusing on your residential needs. But let's say you have a commercial lead and you're starting to build your business in commercial, because it's a transition. It's not you can't jump. You have to kind of wade your way through the water. Then you're starting to practice commercial real estate, and the first thing I do when someone says, hey, Mark, I'd like to do commercial real estate, I quickly log on to the division of real estate and see what your education is. If you've been, if you say, hey, I want to do commercial real estate, you've got 0 classes in commercial, I'm not sure you're serious. Basically, just stop the cup. But, we do want you to grow. And if you want to choose commercial, that's great. What we'd like to see you do is go down that commercial path. If you do have listings, what we're looking at doing is between the subscribers, you can say, hey, Mark, I got this apartment complex. It's over on West Broad Street. It's a 24-unit deal. I want to drop it into COSA. And then so what we could do is say, okay, now it would have to go under my name, Mark Sullivan, because the license is under my name. And we could put Nathan's name under it and say, here, we're gonna have to transfer that. But because our subscription is so expensive, we have to have a monthly fee established on what that listing download would like. Because now Martha would have to administer it, or I would have to administer it. So now we have to establish a monthly fee. For instance, and by the way, that price $550 is for CoStar only. It does not include LoopNet. Our LoopNet, we have created a deal with LoopNet, and it was between Troy Batters, Mark, and myself, and we put together a 15 premium plan to help reduce our costs of what it's like to put a listing in LoopNet per month. It costs us about $50 a month per listing on this premium plan here. And although we have more than 15 listings, we kind of switch it out, we'll put it in a month, take it out, put the next listing in, we keep a cycle going. And so, we're at capacity right now, just between the business that Mark is trying to do. We're at capacity of that. And if we were to add more to it, the same principle applies. If we go to a 20 listing platform or a 30 listing platform, then we're kind of we have to be sure that things are true in your career of doing commercial real estate, because Keller Williams Greater Columbus, because when I sign on that contract, Keller Williams Greater Columbus is responsible. And so I have to be responsible to the company in making sure that I don't financially burden them with undue license fees.
The LoopNet premium listings plan is also it can't go backwards either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fun like that.
Really was.
Well, the thing about when you put your listings on LoopNet or CoStar, they're gleaning all the information from you to turn around and sell it back to you. And so that only enhances their product by getting information from you. So a lot of brokerages don't allow their people to even give them information. Like if they lease something out, they don't want you to tell them how much it was or when the lease is due. Because when you do that, they put it on their platform and somebody else will start mining their client.
Can't you, I don't know what's the problem. Can't you on LoopNet just pay a fee, like $75 per listing?
It's
Pay your own
120
fee.
of us.
But now what they've said is, hey, Rob Gordon is a commercial agent. You need a CoStar account.
That's the problem.
That's when that license
One
becomes.
That's, you got, how come Rob, wait a second, Mark, you only got 3 licenses, why is Rob? Because once it goes to
But,
LoopNet,
but
What is
how
LoopNet
come they
do?
have the right to say that though? They're not the
They
Because
don't
they
boss.
own
operate.
it. They own it.
their license agreement is for
They
the
own the-
strictest of the
I
country.
know, but who are they to say they are commercial agent, they have to sign up for post?
Because they put you, if you have a commercial listing, they consider you a commercial. Anybody that does commercial
Is
in
that
your
the
agency.
agreement that we sign with them? Is that
It does,
the stuff?
it's every company. When I was with Equity, it was the same. way.
Every commercial company in this country signs the same licensing agreement. And it's the licensing agreement that's strict.
But the licensing, there's nothing to do with CoStar. No, CoStar is just an independent company.
Is if you want to use the ML, that's like, I call it the commercial MLS. If you want to use that, this is their rule. If not, you can do commercial
So the
work all day.
rule for
just can't list it
CoStar
there.
that apply to the brokers level,
Yes.
not the, okay.
And that's the problem is because then.
And so, you know, like when you take a listing, you go out and you list your friend's house today and it's on the market. You know, your listing agreement says Keller Williams, Greater Columbus owns that listing. And you happen to be the representative within Keller Williams, which you can service that listing for. Same thing. When we put a listing into their operating agreement, because when you go to LoopNet, what does LoopNet do? It shoves their data into CoStar. And then it's in CoStar. And but then they're saying, well, you got another licensee, they need to subscribe. And that's where it comes down to, is like, you need permission. So if you've got a onesie or twosie, I'm gonna have to say, no, you're gonna have to co-list it between Martha and myself.
And I don't think it was the last time, but first finalists, are they still up and coming? I mean, I thought there was some big push that they were really gonna.
They're
Now,
getting better.
we're not talking about that.
But then let's address it though. It's no room. Yes, you can use Catalyst, but they do not have enough information. Like you can't get good comps because they've only been around for 2 years here. So that's the problem. Is you can't get good. You can use it to get the word out, and it's great for email blasts to all the other commercial realtors. But as far as and they do have a lot of the commercial listings, but not all of them. Because
You
all the
want
big
to build
brokerages.
As that.
Yeah, all the big brokerages use CoStar.
And I remember at one point they were taking like listings that were no longer active, they weren't taking them down there or back why any better.
That's CoStar, LoopNet, and Catalyst. It's up to you to take them out of the system. So it's only as good as the realtor that has that listing.
So Mark, why isn't there an opt-out button or something that doesn't push LoopNet data to CoStar?
Because they own both and they want it.
I understand they own them both. I'm just saying as far as their legal agreements, I mean, you would think that that would be 2 different entities and that then you should be able to.
We sign an agreement for LoopNet. And we sign an agreement for CoStar.
Right, because of the 2 different, that's what I'm saying, because of 2 different entities, there shouldn't be a mandatory crossover of information. I would think.
But there is.
But because, you know, they own, it's like an IDX solution. You know, you put it into the MLS and all of a sudden, boom, you download, you're in 300 websites. It's the same thing here. You download it to LoopNet. It's supposed to go into CoStar.
It's not.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but they claim it does.
No. Well,
But regardless, they're gonna come out.
if we go back into the premium listing again, I could probably guarantee you the 15 premium listings, it's in CoStar. And that's why we switch them out. We rotate, like I have 10 listings. So I rotate once a month, I might pop them in.
Well, maybe also good for people to know to, the book that is more for consumer, CoStar is more for your database, basically to come and pull listing and whatnot. So if you have a listing, you need to be on LoopNet so people see your listing, but CoStar is more comes.
But the problem is you can't be.
This all comes down to the code of ethics too. Article 11 says it. If you don't have the tools or you don't have the knowledge to service your client, you should not be touching them. You put them in harm's way. There's a level of liability involved with you, the agent, doing a commercial deal. You don't have the knowledge or the fortitude of education to service it properly. You could put the brokerage in harm's way because they're responsible. And you put yourself in harm's way. Knock on wood, we haven't been there.
Yeah,
But we're growing, I mean, we're definitely growing, our business line has increased tremendously.
We're okay with you doing commercial, we just want to make sure you have the tools and the education. It's just like residential MLS, you have to do your CE, yeah, that applies to residential, and you have to join the board and get all the tools.
I mean, these are,
Unfortunately,
I
it's a
mean,
lot.
here's the thing, CoStar is expensive, it's also a very comprehensive site, it's got a lot of good tools.
Are there any tops amongst the solely commercial companies that going back to using MLS, the commercial side of it?
I
No,
love
the
that.
MLS itself, like Andy Mills is our past president 2 years ago, has worked diligently with the group of commercial brokers who electively left Columbus Realtors because the Columbus Realtors could not provide a commercial platform for them. So since those 2-3 years ago, when they did left, the Catalyst platform, which is the commercial MLS at Columbus Realtors, has improved. It's grown throughout the state of Ohio and the Midwest. And so now they're starting to look at, there's certain things we're talking about, like a commercial awards night, and there's other levels of recognition that if you're not a member of at least Catalyst, then the big brokers can't participate. So what they become is members of Catalyst, but not Columbus Realtors. So it is starting to push back up. Our subscription numbers at Catalyst is increasing at Columbus Realtors. And that, it's all about subscriptions. It's survivorship is subscriptions.
But also the big company don't want to join really anyway, right?
Yeah, they just.
They don't care, they have enough
There's, and
business.
there's some that are doing. their
CBRE
own.
is so big, they got their own.
Exactly, yeah, they have their own. numbers.
Exactly, so
And
they don't
and they
care.
will never join.
Exactly.
They keep their stuff in house. Marcus and Millichap, same thing. They have their own.
That's
So
why it's
the-
hard, because they don't need us.
So, so that, I mean, the thing with this is, when we download our listings, these aren't ours, or something, they might be. When we download our listings, they go across the country. I mean, so if you have an apartment complex, I mean, if you have a 20-unit apartment complex, they'll sell local. If you got 100 or 200 unit apartment complex, it should be on here on the national platform. Because that's where your money's at. Although, I mean, there's a lot of money here, but nationally, you could probably hit your buyer quicker in a shorter period of time. How are you, when you have a commercial listing, are you putting together an offering memorandum properly? How are you structuring some of the documents that you're submitting to the public, whether it be the public or other brokers, because other brokers that are in this full time, when you have a sloppy listing, they know you got a sloppy listing, and they might come after you and outsmart you pretty quickly. We just have to be careful. Todd and I have run across multiple apartment complexes across the state of Ohio where the broker will not pay your commission. And the thing is it's written in the OM. It's about an 8-point font. It's an 8-point font and it's in there. And if you sign the OM and you send it back and then you go to close and you want your commission, and go, well, thank you, but no thank you. We appreciate you. Yeah.
Well, the same thing is true with hotels. They oftentimes.
And so the thing is, how do we combat that? Is through educational, and the training that we'll provide here, the training that's provided at Columbus Realtors, Ohio Realtors, and National Association of Realtors has
And
a commercial platform.
KW Commercial, they're doing a big training program right now. It started in November and it goes through the end of April. And it's a coaching program once a week. And it's for people that are starting off in the commercial field. And we did, Tracy and I did Nucleus just because I wanted to know what it was. And it was super intense. It was 6 hours a day, twice a week.
Is
I think I did it too.
commercial bowl, basically?
Yes, but it was like on steroids, and they wanted 100 calls a day. Yeah, so, I mean, it was
So here's-
pretty intense. And there's no way as a commercial practitioner that I can do that. If you're starting out, you might be able to do it if you have the platform, but this is a much slower program. It's, once a week, they give you homework, you send it in, they grade it, they help you, so I'm taking it just because I wanted to see what it was. And it's like $200 a month.
So Mark, are you trying to see the census from people, how many people sign up for COSTAR and LoopNet from this meeting? Is that a goal?
Well,
Or to establish
actually, no, it's not the
basis.
goal.
Yeah.
Okay,
The goal is if you choose to be a subscriber to CoStar, you are making a commitment. Okay, so you're making the commitment. The broker's gonna recognize your commitment, but then if you decide, I don't wanna do commercial real estate no more, you owe the 505 or 510 a month until you could find a replacement.
I mean, is that a little photo with NOS, if people hang the license, they just don't pay NOS fee anymore, right?
No.
But
Well, that's
because
fine.
of CoStar's, the way they operate, that's the way it is. Once you
So
get
if
that
even
license-
people just let go of their license, they still have to pay it straight on? Makes no sense.
So,
Maybe.
what would you recommend would be a good, when you're saying too, like, when you're looking at licensing and education levels of someone doing commercial business? My goal is by the end of the year to have enough, just transition all the residential business to the team and then be able to transition into it, but knowing like, when we're looking at the minimum levels you recommend, is it like, should we be maxed out on every commercial class you can do with the MLS and then also be through like a nucleus type program or the new one? Like, what would you recommend just in your experience, like for what you think the minimum should be for us? Because I'd like to, that's in my goal for this year, is to just transition 100% and just make that be my focus. I'm not gonna hit it off obviously at first, but it's in my plan. And so I guess too, just to focus on, well, the education piece I need to be hitting, what would you recommend?
Commercial real estate, it's not a simple answer. A commercial real estate has several platforms, like warehousing. Your database of real warehouse industry is not the same as your multifamily. It's not the same as your medical nor your office. If we're doing senior housing, your database is not the same as our senior housing. So the consulting piece of it is what you want to do, and then I can take you down that path. So once you have a decision, like everyone is watching TV at night, and the multifamily business is pretty easy to get into. Well, I don't know how easy it's to get into when you don't have a database of multifamily off-market owners, or if you don't know how to do a financial analysis of the property when the landlord says, "Here's my numbers, what do you do?" So if you choose to go down this path, I can take you down this path. Or if you want to go industrial, if you want to go office, then we have to go down a different level of training of how that would look, what that would look like. So,
I
and then
would
as you
say
start
the
to-
Alisa, what's her name? Alisa?
Alicia.
That class will answer this question though. That class have a good overview of all the sectors and commercial. Yeah.
Nucleus, I would
Well-
suggest that, and then the
So
other
he will
thing-
answer that for himself.
the other thing that I would suggest for no matter what kind of commercial real estate you do is CCIN 101 class. It teaches you how to analyze the deal,
Here's the thing, Marla, how much the CC 101 class cost?
$1,500.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, I'd rather, this is the thing, paying $1,500 getting the class done, it's different from the trail of $500 a month to not have.
Is that?
I'd rather be serious.
So there's a
than-
prelude to
Yes.
making a $500 a month.
Yeah, because that's a bigger string than just not have to do $1,500.
Well,
class.
let's see,
Well, and
Sabrina,
what else I would tell you to do is to start off by, coming with marker eye, paying a monthly fee, a smaller monthly fee to have us list your listings until you get to 5 listings. Then I would tell you then get your CoStar account. And then, you need to keep that up because it's not worth it if you don't have a few listings. So yeah, I would tell you to team up with Marker Eye for right now until you get to that point.
I would say the first thing you go through that class.
Yeah, well, I mean, the
Well,
CCI.
so early on, about a year ago, the Nucleus, which is developed by Alicia Shepard out of California, she put together this education program, and through the Ohio Valley region, we were introduced to her, and and we just stuck on her coattails, you know, like a little kid. What do we do next? What do we do next? And she took us down this path, and she has this curriculum put together called Nucleus CRE. And this was a year ago, and Sabrina jumped on board, Martha, Tracy, and myself. And there was, I think I got 11 people to sign up. And I mean, because we were a launching class, we had a reduced fee. And because I got 11 people to sign up. But now, so then it went to, well, we're going to do this to the public. It'll cost you $800. So then we continued with, hey, no, this class is a pretty good class. KW, you need to pay attention to this because you don't want it outside of your KW platform. So now KW hired Elizabeth Shepherd to run the commercial division over there with John Letourneau and Catherine Lee are now the 3 operators of KWR commercial. And so now Nucleus program will be in the Keller Williams commercial platform. Okay, so it probably will be launched in April or May, maybe sometime around family reunion, they're going to push it out of what's going on in the Nucleus program. But now, when you become a member of KW Commercial, now you have the tools that are available. Part of the tools is these are all educational classes that this is KW Commercial's educational platform. And they have each month is filled out already. And if I go to whatever month, I can go through and do my calendar planning. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist, right? So I could do my educational planning and get to that level. But now I've become a KW Commercial member. So that's, you know, you're talking about momentum. What are the steps I take?
Once you become a member, then you have to start paying them.
Then you have the membership fee, but then the membership fee gives you more tools, which, you know, if you pay $875, $900 for Nucleus, wait a second, that's only like 7 months of KW Commercial. But then KW Commercial has forums and other educational tools and, you know, all sorts of internal services that it provides you. So that's just another way to do it. So when I got into commercial real estate, what I did is I did what you're talking about. I went to Oak Creek every week. I went to Oak Creek. Are you going to Oak Creek every week? Because there's educational stuff. Central Ohio's Commercial Real Estate Exchange. Martha's past president, Troy's president. I mean, we have members here that have been running the show. So are you going to CCIIR? Did you become a member of CCIIR? Or NIA? These are commercial platforms, and when they teach some good stuff. You're going to go, wow, I didn't do that.
There's an open house for CCIM, the 27th of this month. It's $25 for non-members, 10 for members, and it's really just more of a networking thing. But it's from like
Cheap.
yeah, 3 to
$179 a
6:30,
year.
and you'll rub elbows with the people that are CCIMs in Columbus. And that, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but there's probably about 6,000 of them total nationwide. And, you know, when people look to refer somebody else, they look for CCIMs. They don't look to refer to Judge Mo. I mean, I've done 2 of my classes. I haven't done the other 2, but I'll tell you that the CCIM 101 is probably the most valuable one, in my opinion, because it teaches you how to analyze a deal from top to bottom. And then the other thing, which I'm probably going to repeat it again, because I did it before I actually became a commercial agent. I was still doing a lot of residential. I didn't use it, so I kind of don't have the, you know, tools as much as I should have. And then 102 is more about analyzing the market and see what the market needs, and you know, is this a good fit for this particular property, or this, you know, if I want to develop something, is this, you know, worthwhile, that kind of thing. And then, you know, 3 and 4 are different. And then after you get through all those classes, which are week long each, and it's like taking a whole semester of college and cramming it in 1 week, plus you have homework every night on top of that too. So they tell you to go away, don't stay at home and take that class because it's too easy to get distracted. I mean, I went to Indianapolis for one, I went to Virginia for another one. And it's true, because it's too easy to get caught up in the day-to-day. And, you know, I can't do stuff online. Some people can do it online.
Yeah, I think They just had it here locally, the 101 class, they do have it online. It's across the country, if you'd like to travel and you got the, if you want to hotel it for a week, you can do that. But the overall approach for today's meeting is, number one, unless you get permission from me, and I know that you're gonna make a serious commitment to commercial real estate, you really can't be putting your listings into CoStar and LoopNet. I'm kind of instructing them, unless you get a written signature from me. You want a written signature from me to sign up for your license agreement. You need one from me, and the agent's gonna download, because they may go over to Catalyst and say, oh, hey, Nate, I see you got this apartment complex over in Catalyst. Tell me more about it. How's it going? What's the price? Then what they do is now you're in their database and you're a commercial agent. So the only people I would talk to, and when you do become, if you're a Catalyst member, you're through Columbus Realtors, that's fine. And you should be. And that's the cheapest thing we got going right now. It's $300 a quarter, $100 a month. Cheapest thing going. So if you have a commercial listing, you should be a member of Catalyst. If you're not, if you have a 26, the odds are there will be a residential agent to find that knows somebody in their database for a 26 unit apartment complex. If it's a 100 unit one and you have it in the MLS, you're doing your client a disservice. So Catalyst is fine, and Catalyst will call you and say, I'd like an update. You can answer Catalyst. But if CoStar calls you or LoopNet calls you, say, I have no information. When I close out a deal, that's confidential.
Talk to my broker, just like talk to my attorney.
Yeah, talk to my broker.
Basically what I do, don't throw me in the loop. I got enough to do. What I would do is just say that information is confidential. Because most commercial deals, you're going to have confidentiality agreement. And when does that end?
Never.
If it closes and it's recorded at the auditor's office, you're still held to confidentiality. The auditors over here are public information. Let them go find it. So that's what to do on that. So anyway, we do want you to grow. We want your businesses to grow and prosper in 2022. And commercial may be a piece of that action. If you're serious about getting into commercial, let's go down that road. If you have a commercial listing and you go, well, I can't afford all this stuff. Well, then it's better to get a referral than to lose the deal. Because your owners that own this commercial real estate, they're not dumb people. They've already gone through the school of hard knocks, so they're going to know if you're on board or not. Jeff,
Are referral fees negotiable?
it depends. I get people saying, "Hey, Mark, I got a referral for you." And they go, "Here's John Sullivan." They said they're looking for an office. I call them and I said, "Hey, Jeff Scarpini gave me a call today and said that you're looking for an office place." He's going to go, "Jeff who?" They go, "Well, Jeff, Jeff Scarpini, he's with Keller Williams Great Fund." I think I remember him. And then, if I could screen them, close them, you're going to get 5 to 10%. If you're going to call on me and say, "Here's a lead," and they go, "Hey, here's Johnny Sue," and I call Johnny Sue, and, "Hey, Jeff called me." He goes, "Oh yeah, I've been working with Jeff for 10 years," and they go, "Okay, now that's a different story." But I still have to financially qualify, and we still have to do some work on that. I'm looking for 500 square feet of office space. And if I look at Todd and say, "You want to take this?" he's going to say, "Go to hell." Because any commission that's less than $1,500, there's no referral. Because why? $550 a month.
Work is doing a
Our expense level on commercial real estate is a little bit different than the residential platform. But we're willing to, we want you to grow and do that. So your business, you know a lot of people. So I'm expecting if you said, "Hey, Mark, I need some help," then maybe we do some type of sub-partnership, or, I need this listing into Catalyst, or not into Catalyst, but into LoopNet. So there we could talk that through. And we do have a commercial referral agreement. that the Ohio Valley region has put together, Martha, myself, and Greg Black, Jeffrey Wilkinson, and who else? Anyway, there's about a group of 6 or 7 of us that throughout the Ohio Valley region that put together policies and procedures, which include a referral
You're
agreement.
doing that for over a year, doing that. And one of the things that I would point out as well is the top end is 20%. And the reason being is, like, for instance, one of my signs is $750 to put up a sign. You know, it's not like you go get the little, you sign and stick it in the yard, it's, you know, $75. It's, you know, they're wooden, you have to put, you know, we have to pay to have them put up. And then
Yeah.
they take them down for free, but it's not free because you're paying $750 for, you know, a 4x4 sign. And, you know, if it's a 4x8, it's probably $1,200. And so when people always say, well, why are you only giving me 20%? Plus, it's also a much longer sales cycle. And then our monthly fees are much more. So, you know, I don't go over 20% on referral. And, you know, that's if they're a warm lead. You know, if you know them, you're vetted them, you know that they can afford it. You know, because I get some stuff where it's just a name and you call them and then you start, you know, gleaning the lead and you figure out that, you know, they want a church, they want an 8,000 square foot church, but they only want to spend $2,500, you know, that's not a lead.
See, to me, it's not about referral fee. It's about getting the job done.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, if I get 20% on something and I don't have to do nothing. My biggest referral check year to date was $90,000. He wasn't worried about the big picture. He just said, Mark, here's a lead, right, Tom? So we wrote that referral check out for $90,000. And I don't know if he thanked me or not.
Did you thank him?
What's that?
Did you thank him?
Oh, maybe that's why.
It took a moment.
I
I forgot to send it.
Took a precious.
But it was a deal that Todd and I worked on about a year and a half ago, maybe.
But some deals take 2 years, like the 40 EDS I did up in Cleveland. I mean, it was every bit of 22 months before we closed. I mean, it was just a lot to go through and, you know.
And that was a phone call. That was, I mean, Mark,
How long
here's
is
your,
your agreement with Costa?
it's our annual agreements. We have it in the calendar
They're
2
gonna-
months before the end
So
of the
they're gonna
year.
jack you next, it's gonna be like realtor.com all over.
Keep jacking you.
Yeah,
They're gonna-
they
they're
do
just gonna
every
jack
year.
They have an 8% annual increase.
Sheesh, that's big.
That's big.
Mhm.
Just gotta
They
be
know
able-
you need them.
You know, I can buy a
There's gotta
house
be a
at
way to
3.25%.
you know?
And they have, here's an 8% increase. Here's what will happen as we continue, the industry continues to grow, CoStar will, well, hopefully, they'll be repositioned. But we also have to be, you know, just an FYI, CoStar owns Homestead.
They also Biz by South, Biz Quest. I mean, when I used to have a business listing, so I do businesses as well.
They are buying up data.
It used to be 59.
They are the
now
Zillow of
it's 119. Per listing.
So that's my CoStar story. Any questions? I mean, any concerns? You know, if you were to say, I'd like to see one thing, what would it be? Do we need to have, well, I mean, we have, I have a slideshow that I can put together. I've done it in the past. I think Martha and I did it together on referrals, how to do commercial referrals, what's it look like. We've done that. We can get that on the calendar for this office. Dayla, any questions on recruiting? So, I mean, when we recruit people to the office, I think one of the pluses is that we do have a commercial division. But if you're not qualified to do it, you should refer. And then if you're really interested in commercial, let's go down the path of training, education. But it's your ethical duty to do so. Anything else? No, well, if you want to chat, Jeff, you got some questions, chat with me. Really, I know you do. You're gonna come up with it, so.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mark, a couple of years ago at one of the commercial meetings, you mentioned, I don't think it was Tom Ferry, I can't, I'm trying to think what it was, but he had these webinar or web classes on commercial, and it's all commercial, and you know,
My Lipsy.
that was it, yeah. and you-
We're kind of going away from that,
Oh,
going more with Alicia's program than the Blue's program,
Okay,
because it's a little more, Mike Lipsy is more all about teams.
okay,
And he wants you to be on a team, and it's team platform, period, where, you know, you can do it on your own. I'm a school practitioner. I mean, I'm partnered up with Tracy now, but, you know, they're all about teams. And he's like, well, you gotta have this and that. But, like, I'm doing a deal right now with the church, and we have my friend Jim Wooten, who authored the book, The Gift, and how to give charitable gifts through a church and all that sort of thing. I brought him in on my deal, and I told the guy, I said, look, I you know, will help you, but, you know, I'm gonna bring my friend on this deal because he, you know, he is the expert at this. I mean, can I do it? Have I done it before? Yes, I have, but I will stumble through it. I don't want to stumble through it. I want it to be smooth, and I don't want their gift just, you know, to be disqualified. So I'm gonna go with Jim and bring in the expert. And so, you know, that's one of the things you got to think about too, is don't try to be too greedy and try to keep it all for yourself. If you don't know what you're doing, find an expert, bring him in on the deal. I mean, I'm doing a deal right now with Tony Food. He's not even in our brokerage, but he brought me in because he doesn't know the business side of stuff. So, you know, don't be afraid to reach out to your fellow brokers and bring him in on the deal. There's tough to go around.
No, early on, there was an agent that had an office complex and didn't want to refer. So the client fired her, we went to an office broker, sold it in like 30 days. Didn't have the tools. She lost big commission. Oh, speaking of money, do you know your board dues are past due?
If you haven't paid them.
If you haven't paid them.
I mean, someone's got to see where they cut you off, not right?
I think we have to the end of the month, but if you haven't, if you paid your board dues, bless you.
Bless you, bless you.
Bless you, bless you.
I paid mine late, so I technically didn't pay until the 4th, and they were due the 3rd. That's okay.
I was actually early this year. I'm usually one of the ones like.
I'm normally
My
paying in
name's still on the list.
November. I'm normally paying in November, but I was just like, I don't know, I got the thing and I didn't pay attention to it. And all of a sudden it's January, like, probably should pay the dues.
Good deal.
Zach could not be here. Asked about recording. I think we just call him.
So, all right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One thing, when you're a KW commercial member, all these classes are recorded. So if you can't make it, you can always go back in.
How much is it to be in Cambridge commercial?
It's a 125 a month.
I swear it was.
And I'll try to have, you know, like some of the cool classes
They have quite a few.
and put them here. Like some of them are like,
Yeah.
like they bore me. Classes about financing, anything to do with financing, property analysis, you know, and any of those courses I like. And I think that's the important piece of real estate. So those I will definitely put on the calendar. Do a shout out like we've done here today.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Once in a while.
Like,
Rima, did you ever get your, find a spot to do your certifications for the?
That's like the first class you'd recommend for getting started.
For what now?
For the commercial classes, or just start with nucleus, I think,
Are you talking about the CC?
or yeah, or just, yeah, whatever you think would be a good starting class to take.
Like, it's a 2-hour video program.
See, there's an Ohio chapter, CC.
Is there a group that meets at York Country Club?
That's Oak Creek.
Okay,
That's the commercial real estate exchange.
okay. My neighbor goes every Thursday, or whenever those meetings are,
Yeah.
and he invited me to come and like be his guest one time.
Yeah.
I just haven't gone with him yet.
You know, the big thing is that, you know, if it's
What
not
is
closed.
Well, so let's see.
There's not that many,
I don't know when you want to do it.
silly, there's more Jewish people closer by, you know.
What do you think about doing it next Sunday afternoon
Okay, fine.
at 2:00?
Probably would just go ahead and open it up, you know. do that, you put it on my calendar. And, you know, definitely.
Down.
So CCIM, and then there's an Ohio division.
And then the HVAC.
And then I think I have to read it.
70s, because I know
Education.
was not good when 7-Eleven was.
First step, CC,
Ah.
CI, to learn more.
So it's got.
So this is, so it's $1,200.
If you're a
Realtor, so it's $1,500.
Okay.
Right, yes.
So if you become a member of the Ohio chapter,
Pay for it.
then it's 14.
Some number towards that.
The
or
national
something.
chapter, it's 12. If you're a non-member, it's 17.
Okay.
And then it'll tell you the tools that you're gonna need.
Have you made it to West Broad yet? Yeah.
Okay.
that one,
Upcoming courses.
They're gonna take, so it's gonna have, I think. more
And this is the week-long
than
course?
7,
Yeah,
8
Okay.
Yeah, let's see what they look like.
Okay.
It's like.
So here's,
So they're not taking that much, they're shaving a little bit off the front, but it's so small, you know, I can't, the only user I have is that one guy. And I don't know that he's doing there.
Did you shut off the Zoom, Mark?
oh, did I log out? No.
Yeah, I mean, I still that whole.
Ah, my belly's in there.